Welcome aboard, everybody. I know it's been a little bit of a while since the last review, but we're finally reviewing the last four Tryout Thursday demos. Also, trying out a new setup here. Look at us, trying things out all over the place. Anyways, let's get into it, shall we? Starting us off with Klonoa. My first initial thoughts, well, thought it looked cute until I started playing it. Yes, it's a game from 1997, so it's bound to look The isn't so much the graphics, but it's just reminds me of too many games rolled into one that it looks like one big giant knockoff. However, the demo did surprise me though. It allowed you to play its sequel up to a point. So yay on that. Then it decided to disappoint me again with the flood of tutorial pop-ups and too quick to read dialogue. Next is Unusual Findings. My first initial thoughts? Had no idea what this thing was about. Peeked around on the internet to find out anything I could before starting. Like some people said the story was like the Goonies. However, the more I played it, it reminded me more and more of its cringy brothers, Explorers. The dialogue felt oddly dated, yet this game came out in 2022. Next, we got Tetragon. My first thoughts on it? The art for the cover was the reason why I was like, hey, that looks intriguing and kind of spooky. At first, I thought it was an RPG and I had to do a lot of reading. And then I read the description, a puzzle game. Then I played it and saw a cat and got excited. But sadly, I didn't see one throughout the whole gameplay. The music was a pleasant surprise, even though it was repeating throughout the whole demo, but whatever. Last but not least, we got Dragon Quest Builders. My first thoughts? Since I played number 2, as in Dragon Quest Builders 2, I already knew I'd like it, but I was curious of how much. Now, normally, I don't try to review different demos side by side, but since, after all, this is the prequel and the sequel, I had to. The story treated the player a lot differently than number 2. But dare I say, a touch of seriousness? It was a lot more engaging and longer than the sequel's demo. A few parts made me cringe, but it wasn't too bad with the repeating dialogue and whatnot. Still had a good time. Now, guys, here we go. The rating of the games. I like to use body, mind, and soul. Body mostly being of graphics, art style, you get the point. Mind being, does it have a good story? And if not a story, then gameplay. Sometimes I also like to throw in a few bonuses like pacing. And then soul. Soul being mostly music, ambiance, sound effects, you name it. So, let's go back to our first game. Klonoa. Body. I'd say it's pretty for its time, but sadly didn't age well. But it makes up for itself with its vibrant colors. I'll give it 5 out of 10. Mind. Wish I cared! But auto-running dialogue just loses all of my interest. Bonus. Gameplay. Good and understandable platforming. Pacing. Awful. Just watch. I'll wait. Did that look fun? I'll give it a 2 out of 10. Soul. Good-ish. The repeats sometimes. Sounds are well done though. I'll actually give it a 6 out of 10. And then finally, the overall grade. I'm sorry to say this, guys, but I'm going to give it an F. Our first F. Because if you're going to do something with a lot of dialogue, you have to allow the players to press a button to continue the dialogue. Not everyone is a fast reader. Back to unusual findings. Body. Purposely dated, but it's charming. I'll give it a 7 out of 10. Mind. There's something there, but I think the dialogue ruined it for me personally. I mean, some of the dialogue is nice, but the story-wise, it fell really flat. I like the gameplay being a point and click though. And a little thing to throw in, some bonus, pacing is okay. It's an investigative point and click. Goes well together. I'll give it a 5 out of 10. Soul, a bit forgettable. The only one I didn't forget was You Spin Me Round, but it stuck out like a sore thumb. Sadly, I'm going to give it a 2 out of 10. And now its overall grade, D-. It would have gotten an F, but the graphics and some of the dialogue that you investigate here and there actually saved it. Back to Tetragon. Body, oddly solid. The story scene was done in this great art style that went to pleasing graphics. I could tell it was a mobile game once upon a time though, from the borders on the side. Let's go with a 6 out of 10. Mind. I liked the story bits it had, but since I'm not good at the gameplay, the pacing was ew, and I got frustrated quickly. Let's go with a 3.5 out of 10. It could definitely use a hit button. Soul. Really catchy. I loved it. Until I didn't, from repeating. Let's go with 4.5 out of 10. And now, its grade, D. Mostly because I got way too frustrated at it. And now, back to Dragon Quest Builders. I'm gonna say this is kind of my favorite one out of the group. Body. It's pretty decent. Felt like I had to squint sometimes, but that could have been just me needing my glasses. 5.5 out of 10. A touch lower than what I would give its sequel. Mind. Mild. It's mild. I'd say its gameplay is stronger though. When it's not telling you what to do, the medieval awesomeness shines through. Bonus, pacing is okay, there's a lot of reading, but not a problem. It gets a 5 out of 10. Its soul. I'd say it's lighthearted. I'm not wowed though, but they are peaceful and the sounds complements it well. Let's give it 4.5 out of 10. Its overall grade, C+. And there you have it. Tell me your thoughts and opinions on these games too. Love feedback from the crew. But thanks so much for watching. I'll be shoving off now. Have fun.